To show you how to train your cat to put on a harness without them getting freaked out, and then also how to go about actually using a leash and keep everyone happy, because a lot of times people like to rush the actual putting on the harness when the cat's not actually used to it yet. And that's going to make the cat unhappy. They're going to be more likely to actually slip out of the harness and escape, which is not something you want. You never even want to bring them outside until they're fully comfortable with this little harness on and aren't trying to grab at it or acting weird or anything like that. Hope it was saying hi. All right, so come here, Whiskey. So first of all, you want to find the opening to the harness, and I like to use these pureed squeezable treats. I find them at Petco. They come in a pack of like 4 or something like that. They're not too expensive. We just keep one in the refrigerator. Once we open it, we just put it in the fridge and use it within the week, and he seems to be okay with that. But we just kind of use this because it's something that they can continuously eat, whereas like if you give them a hard treat, they're probably going to want to take that treat away and chew it, and that's not really going to help us do this training process. So you really need something liquid, whether that be like cat food where you use a syringe or something to pick up the food, but this is really easy and disposable, so it's kind of nice. All right, so come here, Whiskey. So what we want to do is actually have the cat themselves put their head through this loop. If we go and try to put it on the cat, they're going to freak out and not want anything to do with that, because as you know, cats are pretty independent and want to do what they want to. So to coax them into actually putting their head through the harness, you basically want to start off having the treat just outside of the harness, have them start to where they start licking that off, and then you kind of slowly move backwards until finally they fully stick their head through that harness, and then I'll show you kind of what to do from there. All right, so come here, Whiskey. Come here. So sometimes I just have them taste the treat to realize like, oh, this is good. I want some of this. All right, so now let's have you try to come over here. Come on, Whiskey. Yeah, so I've got it outside of the leash, and I'm gonna kind of slowly, oh, see, he's not really wanting anything to do with that right now. Let's see if we can get him. Come here. But even though we've been doing this for a long time, I still never put the harness on without him actually putting his head through the harness himself. So come here, Whiskey. Come on. Yeah, I know you want some. Yeah, there we go. Oh, still not quite there. There we go. Perfect. So he's still happy. There's no fighting. And so this is where I use my feet if I'm just by myself. Otherwise, I have Karen actually hold a treat while I do the buckling. But this is my method of just holding with my feet so that he's still drinking, and then I can use my hands and actually get that buckled. So here's got somewhere. There you go. So see, he's still happy. He's not like super excited that I'm putting this on, but he's not running away or doing anything weird. Okay, and so now I can kind of tighten that up just a little bit, and now he's good. And since Whiskey is comfortable with the harness, he's not going to be like rolling around. We started off with just having the harness on like for like 30 seconds and then taking it off. And then you just kind of do that every day, a couple times a day, until finally they just don't even notice that they're even wearing the harness at all. And then once he gets used to actually wearing the harness, then that's when we actually introduce the leash. And so we're still doing all of this indoors because you don't want them to be uncomfortable in that harness at all, because they actually technically are mobile enough to be able to manipulate themselves and get out of the harness if they really want to. And so you want them to never feel like they want to get out of it. You want them to always be comfortable. So look, Whiskey's actually laying down over there with his little harness on, as happy as can be. Because we've done this it took us months and months of doing this. It's not just a overnight thing that you can do. All right, so when you're first starting out, you might not even have them stick their head all the way through the harness, and that's fine. As long as you can just get them used to like the feeling of being near the harness. Come here, Whiskey. Come here, so like it might just be, you know, going like this and having them approach it, especially if you've already kind of freaked them out a little bit about it, and that's fine. Like that's progress for that training period. It's better to do a lot of really short, spaced out trainings than it is to do one really long period, because they'll get kind of tired of it. And so the more times that you can have this positive association with the harness, that's going to be good. Come here, Whiskey. And so once you kind of get them to actually approach the harness, and then that's when you can kind of start having them slightly poke their head through, like that could be progress for the day. You know, that could be progress for the day. Until finally they poke their head far enough that you're able to get it on them. All right, so to put the leash on him, I still maybe give him a little bit of treat, like yay, everything's good, and they just clip that on. And then I always, we just want to have that on him and get him used to having that extra weight of the leash on him without him getting uncomfortable with that either. And so I just kind of put this on him and follow him around the house for a little while, and he kind of gets used to it. I know some people have them trained so that they'll actually go the direction that the person's walking. We haven't gone that far yet. We just go in the yard and he leads us around in the backyard. But that is something that you could work on in the future. And so now we can actually go about taking the harness off, which again, we want to use positive reinforcement to do that. So now I'm going to take his harness off, or leash off. I'm going to use my little feet thingy here and give him some treats while I have my hands free. Come here, Whiskey. And so he just, it's always a little weird with me touching these clasps on his back. So I just like to give him some food while I'm doing that. And then continue giving him a little food as I take that off. And then a good bout of treats there, because that was a good kitty. Yeah. And that's how you have your cat wear a harness and be happy with it.